addiction, people don't got go out of this because they repeat the circle. We are, the spirit are a group of desire, action, and memory. This is a circle. Desire, action, and memory. Desire, action, and memory. Addict must have a motive to don't make this. The motive, real motive, the life don't finish here. And in other dimension, you will don't that desire. Desire will continue with so great suffering. And if addict know this, they will start to think, and it's better suffer here than suffer there. It's better suffer here to let this go out. Because all body, spiritual body will made with gross holes, and it will pain a lot in other dimension. And if the spirit is a good spirit, is a good father in the planet, is a honest man, he is a man with virtues, still he is addicted, but control this addiction, he will receive the helping from his parents, but the pain, they don't will resolve. The pain will continue a lot in other dimension, because the life don't finish here. Don't have sense you anesthesia, take anesthesia in your body. Your life will be an ecstasy. The same, this movie that, I forgot the name of this artist, Tom Sanders, used this control, because a man from a shopping gave to him, and all in satisfaction he put in future, and in this passed his life so fast, and he was so fat, and then he was so thin and so tiny, and he in movie have other final, a surprise and final, but it's the same. You use not this, but use the medicine, calmant medicine. You use cigarettes to anesthesize your spirit. Use drinks to anesthesize the spirit, and this will transform you. And people that don't have, if you don't stop this, don't control this, you will lose your will. Then spirits of vampires will take care with you. And because this is important, the people that have addiction know about it. He still don't believe. If he starts thinking this is possible, is a great chance he have conditions, he have arguments to stop it, and retire this from his life or her life. Then continue. The question made to Hamatis. Do addicted spirits who seek to dominate equally addicted incarnate beings achieve their ends here? Do addicted spirits who seek to dominate equally addicted incarnated beings achieve their ends only among those who frequent corrupt environments, or can they also intervene in their private lives, even at a distance from place of vice? Is the question of Ercílio. Hamatis answer, don't forget that like attracts like. The same attracts the same. Is the law. And for this reason, the imprudent person who attacks such dangerous friendships as those with addicted spirits will later have to exert the most immense efforts to free themselves from them. You well know that both birds and snakes can become accustomed to your presence, doing everything possible to remain with you, provided you treat them as they like to be treated. Similarly, if you constantly indulge in the abuse of alcoholic libations, allowing yourselves to be vampirized by souls addicted to alcohol, it's obvious that they will do everything leading you to practice the vice wherever you can feed it. After gaining a certain dominion over creatures inclined to alcohol, such spirits very rarely accept losing their living vessel, and they accompany them everywhere, for in this way they can better understand their psychological and emotional nuances. See this? They can test their victims in all their vulnerabilities. They provoke family frictions and deep sorrows in order to then awaken emotional reactions that frequently lead their victims to greater consumption of alcoholic beverages. Lead their victims to greater consumption of alcoholic beverages. And when these unfortunate victims become friends of festive nights, amidst great alcoholic libation, the alcoholics from the beyond intensify their repellent vampirism, then acting by hypnotically on their victims so that they always seek sinful environments. Hence the great danger for those incarnate who frequent dance halls, cabarets, nightclubs, and other environments of vice, which, although disguised under the label of innocent entertainment, are places where alcoholic vampires, as the legend of tempting the monsters remain watching every step, intention, and thought of their victims. They spy on they from a distance from their homes, follow them to their jobs, and even wait for them at the exit of temples where they are prevented from entering due to the vibrate boundaries of worthy cities. Question: and how do they manage to disturb their victims when protected by the atmosphere of their orderly home? They make every effort to ensure that these creatures suffer all sorts of irritations, whether during work or during the journey from work to home, thus trying to induce them to provoke conflicts in the family. They end this then with criticism, censure, and disagreements in workplaces, on public transport, at sports venues or entertainment venues, and even go so far as to provoke unexpected discord among the most sincere affections. Not satisfied with this, they seek to deliver to their victims obscene magazines, irascible and venomous pamphlets, scandalous newspaper that awaken in the creature as inner revolt against everything, attributing even the most routine events to the exploitation of others and dishonest intentions. This is why many parents, children, spouses, and siblings, while eating their meals, remain sullen at the table, irritated and impatient, giving way to arguments over any frivolous matter, especially since few still trust in the therapeutic power of collective prayer to calm the nerves of those who arrive from the street with overexcited spirits. In general, earthly families are separated in their spiritual intimacy. Commonly, spouses remain an artificial familiarity, exchanging hypocritical or conventional smiles to satisfy society. In reality, most earthly homes are nothing more than melancholic inns for feeding and catering weary bodies, while souls almost always live distant from one another, and the fierce and habitual demeanor of the head of the family, who comes to vent at home about the flaws of his character and his own excesses. These are the scenes of animalistic jealousy, igniting fires of anger and brutality. Brutality that degenerate into irreparable dramas of tragedies. It's the privileged son who transforms his expensive car into a link between home and the brothel. It's the capricious young woman rude in her domestic dealings, but affable and sophisticated in social settings. It's the wife who only thinks about her toilet, preparing to show off at the dances, uh, at tea dances, laden with trinkets. It's the demanding and authoritarian youngest child transformed through negligence or misunderstanding by the parents into a dictator, victim, the home, the home let me see, victim, in social settings, is the wife who only thinks about her toilet, preparing to show off at tea dances, laden with trinkets. It's the main demanding and authoritarian younger child, transformed through negligence or misunderstanding by the parents into a dictator within the home. These are the depressing scenes that transform the domestic meal table into a stage from disagreements, creating an atmosphere of what is a gathering that, for all intents and purpose, should be one of blessing and peace. Because of these painful scenes and events, the number of those who cultivate repressible friendship multiplies, failing to understand the moral and spiritual grandeur of the true meaning of family. Most members of earthly families united in the individual's problem as an eternal spirit tear homes into arenas of struggle and discord, losing the fortunate opportunity which would be a blessing. Those then for fellowship and unity under the aegis of spiritual brotherhood. How many times does, let me see something, how many times does one of another family member rise angrily from the table, their lips still moist from the food they neurotically consumed during the sacred meantime, only to then disappear into the street, revolted against the stupidity of their home and family. And what happened then? Upon crossing the threshold, groups of obsessive spirits chase after them with vivid displays of joy, celebrating their success like a flock of ominous birds circling around the imprudent one who weakens their defense due for the irascible with which they left their own home. The evildoers of the shadows then suggest that they forget everything through drink. They guide them to meet another creature disillusioned with life and family. Between them, laments are exchanged and the conditions are reciprocal. And soon the release through the pressing alcohol will come. The goal of the alcoholics of the shadow has been achieved. We have learned that men, the talent and commendable creative ability have allowed themselves to be completely disgraded by alcoholism. How can this be explained? Commonly, this degradation is caused by an inner tragedy, human ingratitude as unsolvable emotional problem or successive disagreement within the home. This happened when I initially in the slaving chain of alcohol, the tabloids, vulgar books, melodramatic poems, theater, and silly films that sometimes immortalized in epic poems or exaggerated songs, the vulgar tragedy of some of these bohemians or geniuses degraded by drunkenness contribute greatly to this. Often attempts are made to justify the sublimation then under a heightened sense of art, poetry, or bohemian exuberance. However, the most common scene is that of drunkard, whether illiterate or intellectual, who beats his wife, torments his children, or creates a morbid and hostile environment in his home, becoming the author of the most execrable scenes or melodramas, which would be much better suited to the antics of a circus of poesies, meanwhile cleaning other people in people's mansions, going to great lengths to support, to clothe, and educate the starting display offspring. Under the Creator, just vision, the one who truly lives the glorious poems is still that unfortunate wife, the heroine who often also supports the elderly couple and this maintains the bohemian and incorrigible drunkard son who, indifferent to the responsibility of human life, mercilessly vampirizes those who help him in his own house. The poems, dramas, and films about the epic of the drunkard would be far more interesting and useful if they reveal the daunting reality of the lives of the living jugs, nocturnal bohemians, and incorrigible drinkers. For all this, we see no reason to execute drunkenness or bohemianism sustained by cachaça or whiskey, even when it comes to an intelligent drunkard capable of producing the most praiseworthy sonic and poetic filigrees seated at the noise tables only earthly tavern of bars. And the last question: are the philosophers, poets, or artists who produce brilliant pages or works when drunks also worthy on the same censure? Our history greatly exalts many of our poets and artists who, although nocturnal and given to drink, left brilliant marks of their passages through the earthly world. Under the spiritual, the answer of Hamatis, under the spiritual criterion, the interpretation of the values cataloged in the earthly world changed completely, because before the designs of immortals' life, only virtues have inaccessible value, such as goodness, fraternity, honesty, renunciation, and our immortality. Although the ethics of the world classify them in the flayed spirits, often they are nothing some, let me see, often they are nothing more than living vessels exuding alcoholic libations, which are then used by other equally intelligent former earthly bohemians who have already passed away. If you look of what happens earthly bohemians, you will see. The most of them tend to abandon their families or leave it off idle pursuits, weighing down the economy of nations' life, useless ballast. Same abandon of the old companion to survive then through long years of vicissitudes of humiliations, to cling to the fickle woman, closing her as the great poetic inspiration for their brilliant works. Although this may seem strange, it's around Bohemian tables and amidst the alcohol libation that paradoxically these literary figures awakes their creative genius or poetic vein, for their intelligence only warms under the corrosive action of alcohol, as that they thus come into contact with the addict creature on earth or the beyond. These creatures subvert their laborious intentions, while their wives and children exhaust themselves to support their impoverished homes. What valuable lesson can poets, philosophers, and artists bequeath to the world when to give humanity some brilliant works that begin precisely by wearing the cowardly drama, abandoning their families? What glory can be attributed to those who consume dozens of liters of alcohol in the most irresponsible heavily, when they are not yet capable of obtaining a little of milk little of milk for their children? What is the value of world thirsty for spiritual pets of the cheerfulness, those who sing the spirit of human life cannot sustain the joy of the own home. This is a final of translation. I think you can understand more or less what I read. They are saying that spirits provoke discord around this incarnated, to him drunk, go in floor, and they will vampirize this man, poor man. Then let others read about it, and it's important we know where we are coming with our advice to stop this. 1 week to stop is a great conquer to another place. What say about all entire life? And then God bless all of you, and may God bless your life, and you can show this to people that have necessity of this. Until the next.